Okay guys, so the next question is 2 sum. Okay, so this is Leetcode 1. Let's give it a read. Given an array of integer nums and an integer target, so you are given an array of integers and a single integer target, return indices of two numbers that such that they add up to target. So you have to return the indices of two numbers that is present in this nums array, where those two numbers would add up and form this given integer target. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution and you may not use the same element twice. So basically they are saying that suppose if the target is 9 over here, there can be 9 can be represented in the various ways, right? For example, 5 plus 4 or 7 plus 2. So they are telling that if 7 plus 2 exists in this array, then no 4 plus 5 exists. So basically there will be one unique solution per test case. That is what they are telling. It is said that you cannot use the same element twice. That is, if the target is 4 for example, then we need to form it using two different elements and not the same element twice. A single number cannot be added twice to make the target. In that is not something that we are looking for, right? So we have to make this target integer using two different integers that are present in this integer array. Okay, so the first, and obviously if I just explain you this example, you can see that this is the nums array that is given to us and this is the target array, and the output is 0 and 1. Why this 0 and 1? See, this 2 and 7, if they are added, they makes this target 9. Now 2 is present at index 0 and 7 is present at index 1. So that is why we are basically the output answer array will contain the indices of the two elements that add up to form target. Is it clear? I think the input and output is clear. Over here it is, see, 4 plus 2 gives us 6, 2 is present at index 1 and 4 is present at index 2. Over here there are only two elements, so and we know that there is a solution that is possible, so obviously the solution would be 0 1 6, 3 plus 3 is 6, right? So the absolute brute force approach that is coming to my mind is, for example, let me take the first example only, 2 7 11 15. So this is the target. Let us, I'll take some other targets on the same array and I'll try to visualize different cases. So what I am saying is, guys, the absolute brute force approach is that if I have a 2 and I need a partner to make this target, then what should be my partner element? Obviously target minus the current element. So for 2, if one of the element is fixed as 2, then the other element should be 9 minus 2, which is 7. Now I should set my I to this index 0 and my j shall run from I plus 1 to the last index and try to find out a 7. If a 7 is present, then and there we can wrap both I and j in an array and return that. If you see that we have to return an array of size 2, right? The return type is an integer array. So basically if I find the partner element, I can put both I and j in an answer array of size 2 and can return that array. For example, let me do it a little bit tougher. Suppose the target is 18. Obviously 7 plus 11, it is possible, right? But what should be my iteration, my brute force iteration? It should be, for this 2 I will check that I need nums of I, which is basically 2 minus target to be present. So 2 minus 18, for example, the math dot absolute value of this 2. So basically if a 16 is present, 18 minus 2 minus 18 will give you minus 16. If I take the absolute value of this, then obviously I'll try to find 16 in the array. So I will iterate here, here and here, but I will not find a 16. So then I need to change my I. Then my I comes over here, right? And for this I check for all I plus 1 to n minus 1th element. For this 7, the partner element that I need is 7 minus 18, the math dot absolute value of this, which is 11, right? So as soon as I start iterating, here I get an 11. You are getting the point, right? We are running a nested loop where my for loop is running from I equals to 0 to I less than n minus 1, because obviously we cannot take the same element twice to make our make our answer array, we need to make it, we need to take two different elements. So always my j loop which will be running under this I loop, they will start from I plus 1. So if we are starting from I plus 1, so basically I should run till one index lesser. Usually we do go till less than n, this time we will be going till n minus 1, because the last element, that will not be the starting number for any particular pair, right? So inside this for loop, I will take a j loop, I will take a j loop that will run from I plus 1 to n minus 1, like less than n, till the last index it will run. And over here it will try to find out, if answer of I, if the given array nums, for example, if the nums of I, if nums of I plus nums of j is equals to target, then we get our answer. Then we basically return an array which consists of I and j, which are the index, we return this particular array, right? I'm writing the pseudocode, something like this. So you can understand, for each I am traveling the entire array, right? For each I of the elements, I am traveling the entire array. So that is why it is near about order of n square. It is quadratic in nature. I hope this part is clear, guys. This is the brute force approach. Now if I want to do it in one iteration, obviously this is the time complexity is order of n square. Now I need to do it in order of n, for example. If I need to do it in order of n, suppose there is also a possibility of doing it in order of n log n, but n log n is generally the time complexity which involves sorting. But over here I need to return the actual index of the original array of that particular, like in the original array wherever an element is present, that index I need to return. So if I sort it, I will lose the indices. So this is not an option for me. So I need to think about a solution that runs in order of n. So how can I do that? So it is simple, guys. I will take an hash map in order to use it, like in order to decrease the time complexity, I need to take some extra space. Which will be a hash map. Why? Because each element I need to have it along with its index. What I am saying is, guys, suppose the array was 2, 7, 11 and 15. Obviously necessarily it is not sorted, it can be unsorted as well, right? It can be unsorted as well, but in this case if it is sorted, no problem. What I am saying is that when I am at this, when I am iterating through the array, when I am at this 2, suppose I am taking the target as, suppose the target is 22 for example, which is 15 plus 7. So my output should be 1 and 3. Okay, let me just index this up. So 1 and 3 is the output. Okay, so what I am saying is, when I am iterating through this array, I get a 2. I know if I have a 20, then I can form a pair and those two numbers will add up to the target. So initially if I make a hash map, for example, initially I will make a hash map. When I am traveling in this 2, the hash map is obviously empty. Now as the hash map is empty, I will not find the target element minus of this element which is 20. I will not find a 20. So if I don't find a 20, I say that no worries, I have not found a 20, but let me just store this 2 is present at index 0 in this hash map. So I am storing the element and its index. So let me just store it for now, because moving forward, maybe I get a 20. At that point I will know that okay, a 2 exists, so I can make a pair. So for future purpose I am just saving this. Now I move ahead, I get a 7. Now I check that if 7 is there, then 22 minus of 7, that is a 15. I would need a 15 in order to make a pair with the current element 7. I search my hash map, is 7 present as a key? The answer is no, it is not present. So I say okay, no worries, I save this now. I save this in the hash map, because if I find a 15 afterwards, then that 15 can find me, and at which index I am present, sorry. This 7 is present at index 1, right? Not at index 0. This is present at index 1. Then I move ahead, I get a 11. So I would need another 11 in order to reach the target. So is an 11 present in my hash map? The answer is no. So I say okay, let me save this. If another element comes, then he will know that I am present, and he will also know at which index I will be present. Now I move to this 15. As soon as I move to this 15 will say that my required element is what? Nothing but my target, which is 22, minus the current element, which is 15, which is 7. So I would need a 7 to make a pair. Now, is a 7 present? The answer is yes. Where is it present? It is present at index 1. So what do? We take this index 1 and the current index, which is 3, and we return this array. And you see, this was only our output array. So basically, if you carefully observe, we don't even require to pass an entire iteration. Like in the worst case, we would need to pass the whole array, like in this case where one of the elements was the last index, but we are not parsing the array even twice. We are doing it in one single iteration, where as soon as we get the answer, we can return it, right? And obviously there is no iteration where we are just storing the elements into the hash map. We are on the fly, we are checking if a particular partner element is present in order to make the target. If it is not, then we are storing it with the index. So as soon as, suppose for example, if the target was 9, you get the point, if the array was this and the target was 9, okay, then I would create a hash map, empty hash map would have been created. Then what we have done, I would have come to this 2 over here. This 2, I would have looked for a 7, that is 7 present in the hash map? The answer is no. So okay, I'll put this 2 with its index, which is 0. Then I move to this 7. As soon as I move to this 7, I keep looking for 9 minus 7, which is 2. So as soon as I keep looking for 2, I see that it is present. It is present at index 0. So I take this index 0 and I also take this current index 1 and I return this array. So I did not even travel the whole array. These elements were never even traversed or put in the hash map. I hope you are understanding. On the fly only, even putting all the, I don't need a separate iteration in order to store all the things in hash map. There is no such operation that we are doing. On the fly only we are checking, right? So let me quickly code this up. I hope this is clear. Guys are esteem and honors, this is a very pretty simple question for you guys. Okay, so let us continue. First let me take the size of the array, int n equals to nums dot length. After that, what I'm saying is I'll make a hash map. I'll make a hash map which will contain integer comma integer, because one is the element and the other is the index. Both of them are integer. Let me name it as map, for example. Okay, new hash map, right? This is how we create a hash map. Now I will just iterate from the starting. I'll just iterate from the starting. I should be less than n, I plus plus, and for each element at starting only I will check if the partner element is present. For example, I am taking int partner. What is the partner element? Now with which I will make target. So partner is always target minus of the current nums, the current element, that is my partner. So from target, whatever element is remaining, if I get that, then only I will be, then that is the element that I am looking for. Now I will look for this particular partner element in my hash map. So if my map dot contains key, if a key is present of the value of partner, then I am sure that I have got an answer. I have got a pair that adds up to the target. So what I should do is I should create an answer array which is of size 2. Obviously the answer array is always of size 2, which is holding the indices of both the pairs. In answer of 0 I will put I, and in answer of 1 I will put map dot get I. So basically that particular index, in whichever index it is stored, I will be retrieving that particular thing. And obviously you can see that we can return the answer in any order. So in answer of 0 also I could have put map dot get I, and in answer of 1 also I could have put I. I hope this is clear. So on the fly only, first we are checking if this particular element is present. If it is present, I will make my answer. I will make my answer array of size 2, and then I will just return answer from here only. I don't need to travel any further. After that, what do? After that, if this condition does not matches, so the partner element is not present, so I will store the current element for it to be used in future. So I will add map dot put what the current element I will put, and its index also I will put, right? Over here I I'll always return from inside only, because each solution will always have an answer. But still after that, here also a return statement is expected, so I'll make this answer array upwards, and here also I will just return it for the sake of it. But obviously in every iteration it will be written from here only, but I need to write this return, otherwise it will be looking for a missing return it will give me an error of missing return statement, right? Okay, still I am getting error. What is an error? Line 11. Okay, so basically I'm not adding I over here, I should add partner, right? It is accepted. Please, if you share your thoughts with me why this is not almost beating 100%, right? So yeah, cool guys, that's the solution. This is pretty simple.